Nobody likes to talk about life insurance. I get it, because you don't think about life when you think about life insurance. You think about death. And God forbid you talk about life insurance and kids in the same sentence, people lose it. But what if tomorrow your son or your daughter got sick and needed treatment that wasn't covered by health insurance? How much money would you put up to give them that treatment? Any amount, right? This is your kid you're talking about. All too often we see these GoFundMe campaigns for people who have kids who have unexpected disabilities and they need assistance in paying for these treatments. But if you had life insurance with living benefits, you can have access to money to get them that life-saving treatment, to fly halfway across the world for that surgeon that will help your child. Let's pretend that you're one of those people that don't think that it's possible for your kid to get sick. And you say, what's the reason for me to have this life insurance? The life insurance with living benefits can actually give your child access to money to buy their first home, to pay for tuition, to buy their first investment property. So it benefits more than one way. Today on TXT Tells All, I'm going to talk to you about why you need to get life insurance for your kid. And today we have a special guest joining us. But before I introduce to the special guest, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you can see future content from us. So let's go ahead and get you introduced to that special guest. Okay, today on TXT Tells All, we have a special guest, Ramir de la Cruz, and he's going to talk to us about why you need life insurance for your kid. So welcome to TXT Tells All, Ramir.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. So let's introduce yourself before we get into kind of the details of it. What's your name? What's the business you work for? And kind of why you're passionate about telling people about life insurance.
My name is Ramir de la Cruz. I've been in the financial services in some capacity since about 2012. Mm-hmm. I'm with Transformation Financial. And my passion is just helping families, every single walk of life, because at the end of the day, I believe that everyone deserves the financial education that the rich people are getting. And I wish that when I was growing up, somebody told me certain things that I've known now. And, I want to make sure that I share that with as many people as possible so they can control their financial future.
Okay, so I know you and your business do more than life insurance for kids, but we kind of want to focus on kids because I've done in other videos about how to make your kid a millionaire, and I've done videos about life insurance in general, but specifically, why do you need life insurance for kids?
Well, I think the main reason why we need to do that is, one, it's cheaper when you start it earlier for kids, right? Mm-hmm. And I think at some point as parents, we're all saving money for our kids in different ways already. Right. And life insurance kind of covers it if something were to happen to your kids while they're growing up, you'll be left with some money to take care of all the financial burden instead of asking for people for money when it comes to like GoFundMe and things like that. Right. And then it's something that you could pass on to them when they're old enough to take over the policy themselves. Right. I mean, right? Imagine starting something for your kid as soon as they were born, and when they turn 65, they have at least $500 to $1 million tax free. Right. I mean, that's leaving
powerful.
A legacy.
Right.
Exactly.
That's powerful. And I think a lot of people want to talk about generational wealth, and there's many tools to building generational wealth. But this is a tool basically you're paying into a policy for your child, and the child can use it while they're alive, and they'll still have money left over when they pass away. So basically, you're covering for your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, things of that nature. So you're basically starting something great by just saying, okay, while my kid is a kid, investing in them in this type of way. So I think
exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, when we were growing up, we were always told, hey, put your money in the bank because it's nice and safe and it's going to grow. But when was the last time, you looked at how much interest rate you're getting from a bank?
Right. 56.
You're probably not going to get anything, right? And if you look at certain things like the rule of 72, if you're lucky and you get a 1% return rate on your savings account, it means that your money will double every 72 years.
That's crazy.
I mean, imagine
that's a long time to wait.
A long time, but like I said, like as a parent, if you were to open up something for your son or your daughter, you have access to that as a parent. You could use that for their education, for something like an emergency, medical emergency, or anything like that.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's probably the best health condition that a person will ever be is when they're young.
Right, right. And I know a lot of people, they don't think, they're like, oh, my kid is never going to get sick. And knock on wood, God forbid, you hope your kid never has a problem. But you see these GoFundMe accounts where their kid got unexpectedly sick and they're hit with these medical bills, and then they're trying to raise money, or basically they have medical bills on their credit report because they didn't have money to pay it. And this could be a way that they can help not ruin their credit and help their kid at the same time. So if you have access to it on the front end, why try to go on the back end and, depend on the kindness of strangers to kind of help you out of a situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's right. I mean, you're right by saying that, because I'm going to tell you a little personal story that my sister has a condition called neurofibromatosis.
Okay.
That means she has tumors all over her body.
Okay.
Guess what? She can't get life insurance. And then she tells me that her son has the same exact blood mutation.
Wow.
What does that mean? When he gets older, sooner or later, he's going to get the same condition. So when I found that out, I told because back at that time, this was about 2 years ago, I told my brother-in-law, hey, and you need to get life insurance for your son. But in order for him to get one of the parents have to have one. Right. Unfortunately, my sister can't have it. She can't get it. Okay. So you have to get one. You can get, I don't care if you believe in it or not, you need to get one just so my nephew can get approved. And then when my nephew is approved, you could cancel yours. I don't care. Right. Because I don't want my son, my nephew to be in the same situation as my sister.
Right.
Guess what happened? You want to guess?
What? He didn't get it.
No, he got it.
Oh, okay.
But a week before he turned 6 years old, he had to go to the hospital, had to have surgery. Why? Because they found a tumor on his spine.
Oh, sorry.
So guess what? It started. But guess what? Now he doesn't have to worry about getting life insurance and being denied for life insurance because he has one. Right. Something that his parents started that he can always put more money into it to take care of whatever happens in the future.
Right. And that's important. I know you talked a little bit about it when you were telling the story, and thanks for sharing that personal story with us. I know that the requirements for kind of getting insurance, people was like, oh, I don't qualify, they're older. So for getting insurance for kids, if you are a parent, you can get insurance for kids. If you're a grandparent, can you also get insurance for kids?
Yes. I mean, parents and grandparents definitely can get it for kids. They've actually changed some of the laws now where a parent doesn't, before one of the parents had to have one, or whoever's getting it had to have one. Right. Now you don't have to, right? Okay. But a parent, a grandparent can definitely get it for their child or grandchild. Why? Because there's an interest there. You want to get them something for their education or whatever the case may be. Now, when it comes to like an aunt or uncle, the company might ask a couple more questions on why are you trying to get this for the kid. Now, if you have you're in charge of raising the kid for whatever reason, then there won't be no questions. So,
okay. And I know also we see on TV all the time there are different kinds of life insurance for kids. Like the popular one is like the Gerber one, and then it's like whole life, index life. Can you kind of give us a little idea of like what one you recommend? I don't know if you offer all of them, but kind of which one, if it was you buying for your kid, what would be the benefits of having any of those kind of different ones?
Well, I mean, I'm a broker, so I'm able to represent Gerber as well. But based on my experience, Gerber is a little bit more on the expensive side, right? One of the things that you'll see on the Gerber's ad is like, oh, it will automatically double once they turn 18. But if you're looking at the cost as a measure, it doesn't really work out that much better. As when it comes to like return on your investment too. Okay. Now whole life, your traditional whole life is either, when you're older and your account grows, your cash value grows, you're either going to get the death benefit or your cash value, whichever one is higher. Okay. And then there's this thing called the index universal life, where what I love about it is when you do pass away, your family and your loved ones will get both the death benefit and the cash value. So there's as long as it's set up properly. And you know, there's I know I work with one of the companies I work with gives you up to 15% return. I mean, a bank does not give you 15%.
Nowhere near that. Exactly.
So, exactly why, like I said, most people are already saving money for their kids in some way, shape, or form, whether it's a 529 plan for college or just a regular savings account. It's just a matter of educating them and giving them some options on where to properly place those investments.
And I know you talked a little bit about qualifying for getting the life insurance. You talked about your nephew. So I guess a benefit of getting it at an early age is that most kids don't have conditions that would prevent, like an older person like myself or even my mom, who's, you know, almost 70, from getting life insurance. They basically qualify for it. So that would be kind of the plus of doing it. So do they have to go through like a health questionnaire? Do they need to go to a doctor appointment? Like, how does it work as far as them qualifying to get the actual health insurance?
For kids, there's no medical required. What they just basically do some medical background check with the pediatrician and just get some basic information just to see if there's anything going on. So it's pretty quick and simple. You know, I've got clients that could get approved by the next day or two. So, you know, so it's not extensive. They don't have to go see a doctor or anything like that. And then if there's anything going on in their medical background, then there might be a little bit of a questionnaire just to get a little bit more background information, and that's it.
Have you noticed, I guess, during COVID, I know some of the insurance, not just life insurance, but other insurance companies have been paying out and they're like, oh, this is hurting our pockets. Have you noticed kind of increases in premiums because of COVID, or people being denied because of this whole COVID situation, or, you know?
No, quite the contrary, actually. I know the insurance companies I represent over 100 of them. And most of them are actually, you know, giving you the option to not do medical for adults, right? Where I had one client get approved in less than 48 hours with no medical. So, because at the end of the day, they're not raising the prices on because that would be very unethical, right? Because you're kind of like, hey, let's take advantage of the people that's struggling now. Because at the end of the day, you want people to get something that they can keep for a long time. You know, people say, oh, I can't afford it and all that stuff. Well, what can you afford? Let's work on something that is within your budget and within your means. So
that's a good segue into it, because I know I think the biggest, I guess, obstacle people say is like, I can't afford it. I got other bills to pay. I can't afford it. And I know there are many ways that you can afford to pay it. Like you have priorities in life, and I know there are different kind of payment plans. So you can, I think you can do like custom plans, and you can do standard plans. Can you give an idea, like a ballpark? Like if I wanted to insure, let's say I have a kid tomorrow and they're, let's say 3 years old, and what would be kind of the considerations and the average payments it would be for a kid that age in this day and age kind of thing?
Just for my experience, ballpark, most of my clients that have policies for their kids are doing something between $50 and $75.
And that's like a cable bill.
Yeah, right. I mean, I do have some people that are doing $25, and like I said, what's good about, like, I'm just going to talk about Index Universal Life for a second, is that it does have flexible premium, where if you start something today for, say, $50, and then 2 years from now, mom and dad is making more money, hey, let me put another $25 on the side for my son. Call up the company, say, hey, instead of doing $50, can we do $75? And that extra money goes directly into your investment, where it's going to be protected. It's going to grow faster than it would if it was in the bank. So,
Okay.
you know, a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't," like you said, "I can't afford it," and all this stuff. Well, what can you afford? What the beauty of it is, the beauty of what I do and what I love about doing what I do is the fact that I can help you whether your budget is $10 a month to six, seven, $500 a month. Doesn't matter. Something is better than nothing.
Right.
And I mean, if the pandemic hasn't taught you that,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
I personally know a lot of people that have lost their mom or dad through COVID, and fortunately, the parents were responsible enough to set up something for themselves while they could, as opposed to leaving all that burden for their children.
Right. And I think, like I said in the beginning, before we got on, I was talking about that people usually want to think about life insurance and kids because it's kind of more, people don't like to talk about life insurance at all. It's kind of like a taboo topic, but it's a necessary evil. It's kind of like you need it, not just because you want to plan for your death, it's for generation after generation. Can you talk a little bit more about just access to the living benefits? I guess the tax-free money that you have access to and how you can access to, let's say if your kid got sick or anything, can you explain kind of the living benefits that go along with the life insurance?
Yeah, so as far as one of the living benefits for, there's different living benefits. I mean, there are certain things, like I know that terminal illness is a living benefit that would qualify for a child. But basically is what it means is that you're going to have access to the death benefit while you're still alive.
Okay.
For example, if the child gets sick and the doctor say, "Hey, you know what? The child has less than a year to live."
Mm-hmm.
You have the option of taking out all the death benefit to help you pay for all the medical bills.
Okay.
That way you're not putting yourself in a hole financially, right? Okay. And then there's ways where if the child needs assisted living, where mom and dad are working, but then they need to have a nurse or somebody kind of stay with the child. Mm-hmm. You have the company will pay a certain amount on a monthly basis to take care of that bill. Okay. So you don't have to worry about, oh my God, I have to sell my house. I have to put my house as a collateral for all of that stuff. Right. That's what I mean. We all have cell phone insurance, car insurance, home insurance. For what? For when things happen, or if things happen. Right.
You're planning.
But what is the most important thing that we should insure? Your life, because that's one thing you can't replace. You break your phone, you're paying an insurance, but you're still paying a deductible to replace that phone. Right. Same thing with a car. Most of the time, you get nothing. Right. If nothing happens to your car or your phone or your home, so you're just wasting your money away. Why not have something to protect you if you die too soon or if you live too long, so that you have access to money if you pass away? Well, not you, but your beneficiaries your family will have access to money to take care of the financial burden that would be left behind if you die too soon.
Yeah. I always say, like, some of the stuff that I'm learning about at this point in my life, I didn't learn about earlier. My parents didn't know about it. My grandparents didn't know about it. It's kind of just like work, hope to get pension, and then live off of pension and Social Security. And that was basically their only ways of living life. But as I got older and I had access to all this information, I'm like, okay, there's other ways of doing it, having multiple ways of having income in different ways, investments. And I see life insurance as an investment in my future, in my kids' future. And I'm glad I learned about it now, and I'm trying to educate other people. And I'm glad that you came on TXT Tells All to kind of share information, and so that people can get in contact with you and say, okay, listen, I want to start, it's January now, I want to start the year off on a good foot. What can I do to get insurance for myself, for my kids, tell other people about it? So I think it's important, like, to share the information, and when you get the information, do something with it. Don't just sit on your hands and say, okay, now I know, but didn't do anything different and expect a different result. So,
I mean, here's the thing. Like you said, when you were growing up, just like when I was growing up, we didn't learn about anything like this. We didn't know that we're so programmed to just go to work, go to school, get a good job. Mm-hmm. Hopefully they'll take care of you for the rest of your life. But guess what? Unless you work for the government, there's no such thing as a pension. Mm-hmm. Social Security, you and I are too young to even see that in the future.
Right.
Because, you know, if you look up in their own website, it might be depleted within the next 15 to 20 years.
Right. So
unless you're retiring within the next 15 to 20 years, we just gave all that money away for nothing. Why? People are living longer and
right.
modern medicine, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and it's not our parents' fault that
Right.
they were taught to work hard, get a good job, all that stuff, because that's all they were taught.
Right.
Now it's our turn as the new generation to teach our kids and our grandkids that, like you said, there are other ways to you know, make your financial future a little bit more secure. And it's an investment. We all invest in things, you know, when it comes to TV and stuff. We all have money when it comes to Black Friday and the holidays.
Right. Like, use some of that money to invest in your kid and yourself.
You know,
so
people can a parent save $10 a month? I mean, not a month, $10 a, you know, when you look at, oh my God, $100 a month, that's a lot. Well, $25 a week, that's like a couple of drinks less at the bar on a weekly basis.
Right.
If you smoke, that's maybe like 2 packs a week less. You know,
if you put it in perspective, exactly.
It's all about your mentality, and I believe that, you know, it's all got to start with us. And I know that because of this business and because of what I've learned by being in this financial service industry, my kids don't have to worry about money.
Right. That's a good feeling, like, to know that
I mean, my kids will have at least $500,000 tax free when they reach 65. And then obviously I'll teach them to do the same thing for their kids, and then my great grandkids are hopefully gonna love me enough to have a picture of me at their home and say, you know what, because of that man up there, he changed our lives. He changed our lives financially through financial education, and that's what it's all about. That's where it all starts. You know, we all know how to work hard. We all know how to work hard, but, you know, sometimes we just got to work hard and work smart at the same time.
Right. Smarter. Work smarter, not harder necessarily all the time. So I'm an advocate of that. I'm going to drop the information in the description box about how the TXC Tells All viewers can reach you by phone and by email. Is anything you want to leave kind of the TXC viewers with, kind of just to let them think about before we sign off for today?
Here's the thing, guys. If you have doubts or, you know, you have questions about something, it doesn't hurt to ask. I'll be willing to sit down with anybody and show you some different options. Work with what you have, something that, you know, because at the end of the day, we're all thinking, oh, I don't need this. Me, as you know, I know that this is just about kids, but as a parent, look at yourself in the mirror. Like, if something happens to me tomorrow, does my wife have to work 2 to 3 jobs to take care of my kids? Or will they be financially stable? Now, if the answer is no, then we need to sit down and talk and look at some options, you know, and, you know, set up your future generation financially. Because at the end of the day, we gotta learn how to play the money game. Otherwise, we're gonna be in the same situation we're in now, and our generation in the future are gonna be like struggling the same way.
Right. So thank you for that information. Thanks for joining us on TXC Tells All.
Thank you.
Comment below if you guys have any other questions, and you can reach out to him directly as well.
All right.